We have with us Mr. Prasad from X Value Technologies, who is the director. He is a Python evangelist and he's also built an entire platform for his products, which will be launching soon. So, over to Mr. Prasad to share on Python. Over to you, sir.
Hi. Hi. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. So, as ma'am said that my name is Prasad. So, we develop many products on Python. So, we have a team like who work on Python. So, let me start uh, introduction about Python. Okay. See, basically, Python is a general purpose, high level programming language. Okay. What do you mean by high level programming language? See, I'll tell you in detail. In detail, I'll explain. Let me introduce, how it was developed, who developed it, and where they are going to use it. Let me give some introduction about Python. So it was initially developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991, and then Python Software Foundation took it, and then they started contributing as an open source product, and now PSF means Python Software Foundation is taking care. Okay, actually this guy, Guido, he contributed to develop a language called ABC in his career. So he found some issues while developing this ABC language. Got it right? So he wants to fix those issues. So what he has done, he started developing his own, language. So he used syntax of ABC, but some extra features, means some extra ideas what he got while developing that ABC language, and he named it as in Python. So why only Python? Why did he name named it as an only Python? He was watching. I mean, he has taken this, from a BBC serial name, because he used to watch the BBC TV show Monty Python's Flying Circus. So that from that name, he wants to take short and crispy name. So he was a huge fan of that TV show. So he has taken that name Python and he has named it for his own programming language, and he released it finally in 1991. So that's the just a short introduction about Python. You know, so the main objective of this guy was, I mean, when he was developing, the main objective while developing this Python scripting was, you know, everybody has to understand the code readability. Means it should be very good, high. Code readability should be high. Means like looking at the code, people has to understand very easily, and the productivity of the developer has to increase. So it should not have too many features, confusing a developer. Even a 10th standard, 10th class guy has to learn. So that was his main idea to develop this Python. So when you look at the syntax of Python, it will be something like this: print a plus b. It's very simple, right? Even a fifth class guy can say 5 plus 2, 7. Likewise, it's very simple. It looks like a normal English. That was the main objective of it. Means provide code readability and advanced development productivity. That was the main objective of this guy. While developing this Python. So when he released this product, right, it had all the features like inheritance, several core data types, exception handling, functions. All it had. It had many features like. People started using it, right? The official website for Python is like python.org. Python.org. So What are the prerequisites to learn this Python? Nothing, man. You should have some basic knowledge on programming terminologies and understanding of, like, basic understanding of some programming. If you know C, that will be added advantage. Means like that's a plus. Other than that, if you have some basic understanding of programming terminologies, right, that should be more than enough to learn this Python. It is one of the fastest growing language in current market. So what do you mean by fastest? In what terms it is fastest growing? In terms of number of learners and developers, because there are many people nowadays, including students, who are learning this Python, including students. In fact, most of the students, most of the students, they started learning in +2 before engineering only, and they started developing small portals. They first learn Python, and even they have started doing web scraping, anything. I'll tell you like what is web scraping and what can you develop using Python. I'll tell you in just few minutes, right? So it's the fastest growing because the number of learners and open source contributors are huge. Got it right? So that's where I say, like, it is fastest growing language in the current market. Other than that, Python community is very strong and huge. Means number of people contributing to this Python development are huge over the globe. It is not like somebody is contributing from India only or somebody is contributing from US or UK. Over the globe, people are contributing to its, to develop. The community is very huge. So free and open source implementation is the, see, Python has many flags, like, there is something like, I mean, C Python, or I mean, Jython, Ruby Python. There are many flags. So in that, one of the major thing people use is C Python. Hello. Yeah. So implementation is quite vast. What do you mean by implementation is quite vast? I said it is fast growing. Why it is fast growing? Because people are learning. Number of people, I mean, number of learners and developers are huge, and number of contributors for this Python foundation, means like open source foundation, is huge. And other thing is, it is quite vast. It is quite vast. In terms of area we implement, why I am saying it is quite vast, in terms of areas we implement this is very huge or very vast, like web development, test automation, system admin tasks like server monitoring, taking backups, and then DevOps tasks, machine learning. Okay, one by one I will explain. See, you can develop artificial intelligence using this Python. See, nowadays, whenever you say AI, people say whether either R programming or Python programming. Why not Java, C, C++, and other things? Because there are matured libraries in Python and R to develop ML, means machine learning algorithms or machine learning models. That's the reason people say learn Python so that you can develop, I mean, you can learn data science, machine learning, or computer vision. All these are part of AI, artificial intelligence. Maybe you can say subset. Clear? So if you learn Python, if you learn Python and if you learn basics of any AI we can subset like ML or data science or whatever, computer vision or whatever it is, it will be quite easy to develop applications, machine learning applications. Why only Python? Because there are matured libraries which will support machine learning, right? That is one part. Another thing is you can develop web development, means you can develop web portals or websites using Python, Django and Flask. So Django and Flask are frameworks, web frameworks. See, Python is something like a basic core part, but after that if you are learning machine learning or Django, it will be an additional thing, but basic is Python. You should know basic Python. On top of it you can learn other stuff based on your interest. So what framework will be used to develop web development or web portals? Django or Flask, right? Next, so it can be used for developing machine learning modules or machine learning models or machine learning algorithms, you can say, and web development and test automation. Say somebody has developed some product, now you need to test it. Either you can test it manually or you can even automate that manual task. Like let's say that I am trying to test a Gmail application, right? So how would I test? First I give valid username, valid password and check whether I could able to log in or not. Next, invalid username, invalid password, you are not supposed to log in. Invalid username, valid password, not supposed to log in. Valid username, invalid password, not supposed to log in. So this is how you need to test any product. See, if you are testing manually, you have to spend a lot of time. You have to do too many iterations. Means like it's a manual task. So you can automate it using Selenium, Python. So you can also use Python for test automation development, right? Any questions till now? Okay, we will have a question and answer session at last then. Okay. So another most important thing is like they use Python. People use Python for system administrative, automating the system administration tasks. Let's say that I want to take backup from my server. So what I can do, I can just write a small program and I can trigger that program exactly when at whatever time you want to take backup. So I want to take backup from 1,000 systems in my company. If I want to go to every system manually and take backup, I can use pen drive or I can use some other server accessing from that system, whatever it is. It's a tedious task, right? So instead of that, just write a small program. That program, let us write in Python so that whenever the time triggers, right? Whenever the time comes, it just executes in the sense like it will connect to the every system and it will take backup. So it's very easy process. So people also use Python to do some admin tasks. As example, I told you, right? Like taking backups, or if you want to monitor your server, what is server monitoring? Like when you want to see whether the server is up or it is down. If the server is down, your applications doesn't work. So you want to monitor. So whenever a server is down, right, it should immediately send a message to you, boss, your server is down. So what I can do, immediately I just wake up and I'll go and I'll just check what's the issue with my server. So such kind of system admin tasks can be done. You can automate such kind of tasks. I have no, as such I did not prepare any PPT. So I don't have any PPT. Sorry, I did not prepare any PPT. Okay. Okay. Now, so nowadays you listen, something called DevOps. What is this DevOps? Anyway, so this is one of the hot job market nowadays, like DevOps. So people, it's a kind of little development. It's a kind of everything. Like it's a kind of little development and support, in the sense like somebody wants to install your software, so say, and you want to automate the complete process. Once you push your software, the latest version, it should automate. I mean, we are trying to automate. It should automatically go into the server and it has to boot up. So this process, so they use this Python extensively in DevOps tasks as well. This is how some of the, that's why we call it as an quite vast. Vast means its implementation is quite vast. And okay, see, one of the most important and most advantage with Python is, once you install Python, okay, it has all by automatically it has all the modules. Very rarely you need to explicitly install a module. Otherwise, you have all the modules. That is the reason why we call this Python as the batteries included language. Means it is self-sufficient. Means you no need to include again anything. Once you install Python, that's it. All modules are available as a standard standard Python installation. You need to just import it and code. That's it. That's one of the the best advantage, or I can say it's one of the best thing with Python. And it's quite easy and simple. As I said, it's very easy. Easy in the sense, like uh, it's like reading an English language. That's it. It's an interpreted, procedure oriented and object oriented high level programming language. So what is interpreted, procedure oriented, object oriented, high level programming language? See, I'll explain the difference between compiled language and interpreted programming. Whatever you call it, and script or language or whatever it is. Generally, whenever your language is interpreted by an interpreter, then we call it as a script. Whenever your program is compiled by compiler, then we call it as a language. But here people use, the terms in a generic way. So no need to confuse. Now, Python is an compiled plus interpreted, both. It doesn't run just like an executable. It will run on PVM, means Python virtual machine. It is nothing like you just compile that into an executable and you just run it. It's nothing like that. So how it works? Once you have a Python program, right? You just convert that into bytecode using compiler, Python compiler. That bytecode will be given for the PVM, means Python virtual machine, like however your JVM works. Similarly, your PVM works. Means it's a virtual machine which will convert your bytecode to mission code, mission readable code. This mission readable code will be executed by the system or your CPU, so that you can see the output. That is how actually this Python works. So this, whatever I said, interpreted, means this interpreter will be part of this PVM. Python virtual machine. Just now I said, right? So first part is your Python file will compile your Python program to bytecode, and this bytecode will be given for the PVM, means Python virtual machine. Inside PVM, there will be an interpreter which will convert this bytecode to mission code, and this mission code will be executed by your CPU, so that you can see your program output. So that's how this Python work. That's the reason I said Python is an interpreted, procedure oriented and object oriented. Basically, there are two approaches to develop any software. One is procedure oriented and other one is object oriented. See, if you are using only procedures, not OOPS concepts, and if you are developing a product using procedures and functions, then it is a procedure oriented. Example is C. And if you are using OOPS concepts, means object oriented concepts, and developing any application, then we call it as an OOPS object oriented. Example is Java, right? That's why I called Python is an interpreted, procedure oriented, and object oriented, and high level programming language. There are two types of programming language, high level and low level. See, low level is something like your assembly language, which can be understood by your CPU. High level language is mission readable, like human readable language, means users can easily understand. It is something like readable in English. Print means what it does, it will print something on your console. So high level programming language, Python, Java, C, something like that. Hope, I mean, like you got it. Like Python is an interpreted, procedure oriented, object oriented, and high level programming language. Okay. Now there are different flavors of Python, like C Python, Jython, Iron Python, etc. You know, once the course started, I'll explain each and everything, like what is C Python, what is Jython, what is Iron Python, and all. Okay. Next, some of the products developed on Python or something like this. Dropbox, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Netflix. These are some of the real-time products what they have developed in Python. And the current version, there are three versions: 1.x, 2.x, and 3.x. Now the latest version is Python 3, means 3.x. So that's about the basic introduction about the Python. So now let's have some question and answer session. Yeah, you can ask if you have any questions.
Students, you could you could type in your questions in the chat box, anything related to whatever doubts you have on Python, and Mr. Prasad will answer it. We're making it more of an interactive session, so please ask questions. Please type in your questions. You could start now. Students, please ask any questions if you had related to Python, any doubts, any apprehensions, whatever you have. Mr. Prasad is an expert in Python, and this is a new language for all of you, for most of you. So please ask any questions. It will also help the other audience to learn more.
Great. There is nothing like good and bad language. I'll tell you, you need to think something like this. The future will be mostly intelligent systems, right? So if you want to have intelligence, you need to, if you want to add intelligence to any system, you need to learn AI, right? So if you think in that regards, Python is the best language to learn or implement AI till today. Not sure about next month or next week or next year, next 10 years. Tomorrow some other language may come into the market, or they may say that you just write these 2 lines, your system will have an intelligence. As of now, Python is the one, right? Similarly, the current problem in the industry is, data security. Even that can be achieved using blockchain. How many of you guys know about the blockchain? So these two are very, we are expecting more robotics, blockchain, and then artificial intelligence, um, uh, cloud, cloud. These are the, things that I see which has good future. And even you can implement blockchain applications using Python. Blockchain applications. So in future, what will happen? All your data will not be having in one centralized system. It will have in different, means decentralized system and distributed system. Means like everybody will have some data. Okay, that is a different thing. Like decentralization system is, you can assume for now, centralized system is like till today we have only one server where you need to store all the data. But tomorrow what will happen? Such kind of many servers will be there, scattered over the globe. Right now, data will be there with every server. Even if one server comes down, the other server will respond. That's nothing but decentralization. You got it? So if you think in that way, data will be decentralized, and this decentralized data will be used to develop intelligence for any system. So in future, as of now, Python people are using very extensively. And one thing I'll tell you, if you want to develop any prototype, right, any application, most of the startups, they choose Python only, because it takes very less time to develop any application in Python. Clear? So there is nothing like which language is good to learn in future. As of today, like Python and Java, .NET, everything, but Python has good requirement. Actually, yeah. Ananya is asking me something like, which language is highly recommended in defense, like Army, Navy, and Air Force? Either Java or Python. There are many Python applications in Army, Navy, and Air Force. In fact, I think like electronic students are there, like Raspberry Pi. So there are many IoT applications using Raspberry Pi. So people use Python to program this Raspberry. Python can use for mobile applications. That is the only drawback. You can still develop server-side scripting, but for develop Android applications and all, no, we don't use mobile. Python. Actually, why do most service or product-based companies prefer C++ and Java? See, they used to prefer. Why Java? In the sense, it's highly secured. Highly secured, and enterprise applications, people prefer Java only. Because I'll tell you, it's not only one platform, right? They need to integrate with multiple products. So it's quite easy. And moreover, Python was not so, good in last few decades. So at that time, we had only Java manpower. People were, the manpower where we used to get was Java manpower. So they started using, Java and C++. And why C++ in the sense, it is very easy to interact any embedded, means like any systems, any systems, it's quite easy to interact, low level. So that's the reason they used to use C++. But if you look now, if I want to start, if I want to make any startup, seriously, I don't prefer C++ using C++. If it is only required, let's say that I need a library, that library is in C++. What I do, I take that C++, on top of it, I will write Python, this thing. I can use compiled C++ library. I should be able to use in Python. Other than that, nowadays you don't see anybody starting their startups in C++ or Java. Now mostly they use Python, but again it depends on their product. As I said, right, it has vast usage. Why Python cannot be used for mobile applications? I mean, like, because I don't know, like they are not maybe their objective or their vision was not that much at that time. No, as per me, like we cannot develop any Android applications or using Python. There might be some frameworks, but they are not popular. Means nobody used till today to develop that such kind of mobile applications using Python, and they have kept it in Play Stores. As per my knowledge. So what generally we do? Let's say that we develop some application. We will make it web services. Right, web services. These web services we will call from Android. Means like when developing these mobile applications, and then whatever the service response or returns, that we will render in the Android and we will work. This is how we used to develop. So, any other questions?
So one last question we can take now, and then we'll close the session. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah.
And really, I want to thank Mr. Prasad for sharing his
Thank you,
knowledge
ma'am.
on Python
Yeah.
and for addressing all our questions. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, sir, and
Thank you,
hope to
students.
learning from you
Yeah.
soon on
Yeah.
more sessions on Python.
Sure.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and I'm
Yes.
sure all the students who attended have really benefited from today's session. Oh, there is, I think, one question which has
Yeah.
come up
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Okay, we can
Yes.
close after
When it comes to
you address this
police
question, sir.
division,
Thank you.
when it comes to police division, where and how can I'm not sure. Like when it comes to police division, where and how can they make use of Python? No, I mean, you can get some data using web scraping. That's one part. Or you can even implement, if you are good in ethical hacking, right? You can use Python based scripting and give that script to any tool which will fetch some data, or hack any of those. As a police, what police people will do, cybercrime, they want to fetch some data. Like if somebody is doing some any nonsense thing, they want to catch him. So how can they catch? They need to get some data, and based on that data, or even they need some evidence and all. Yeah, people still use some tools with Python. It's not only like, it's more it's more specific to ethical hacking. But yes, if you know Python, you can use tools which are related to Python based ethical hacking tools, and you can get that data. That will be really useful. Yes, I know people who are using Python for ethical hacking. Yeah. They use shell
Okay, thank you, Mr.
scripting.
Prasad. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That should be fine, madam. Thank you.
We can
Thank you
close this
all.
session today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
all.